Dopamine, endorphins, serotonin, adrenaline. These are all hormones and chemicals that get released from the brain when you do a good workout or you're running. So besides the physical benefits, there's also mental and emotional benefits to exercising and running. Stay tuned. We're going to talk all about running, what our tips are, benefits, our challenges, and we're going to learn how we can also run for a cause. Coming up. Hi, I'm Fernando Sosa, and you're watching Mindset of Steel live show. In this show, our purpose is to encourage you to crush your limiting beliefs, punch fear in the face, and take massive action in your business and personal life by focusing on the 80% psychology and 20% strategies. I'm fired up. This is episode number 6 of this weekly live show. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about running and, in parentheses, exercising. We're going to have some special guests coming up, and we're going to share some tips and lessons learned and strategies. And we're going to have some fun with our trivia game. All right. So starting up with running, I'm going to share basically my running journey began about 5 years ago. It began 5 years ago when in one summer, I decided to pick up running and just start exercising just because of my health, because I was very sedentary. I was always behind a computer. And so I picked up running. And I ran. I didn't know what I was doing. I just ran. I just started, total amateur, just running. And by the end of the summer, going into the fall, I actually ran a 5K. And I actually ran 2 5Ks that year. So I was doing pretty good. But then after that second 5K, that was it. I never ran again until 5 years later for different reasons. Many excuses. One of them being the weather. It got cold. But thinking back, I also remember I have twins. Right now they're 6 years old. So back then, 5 years ago, they were 1. So having 1 year of twins, there was a lot of sleepless nights going on in the household. So that was one challenge as well. Just it was very hard to wake up in the morning and do something like that for myself and running. But again, these are just excuses. And so the excuses stacked up, and I just never picked up running again until now. Now I'm running again, but I have a different mindset. And that's the key thing, having a different mindset. Doesn't matter how much strategy you have put into something. If you don't have the right mindset, then it's just much more difficult or impossible to get it accomplished. So one of the challenges I'm going to share here is that, let me just share something here with you, that I'm going to share some challenges that I have in my journey. And they're very typical. The first one being weather, like I said, I usually run between 6 o'clock in the morning. And right now I'm running over 2 hours. So when I wake up 5, when I'm going out 5, it's about, the coldest it's gotten is like about 45 degrees. So that's pretty cold, or it's either raining or drizzling. So weather is always, most of the time, is a challenge, but still you can't keep going. Hunger, thirst, running with an empty stomach, thirst, you have to hydrate. So these are things that I've learned over time as I started running. But being hungry after 2 hours of running, that's a thing. So those are challenges. Bathroom breaks, right? Imagine running and a couple of miles in, you feel a rumble in your stomach. That's happened to me. That's been challenging to me. I learned my lesson. I listened to my physiology, so you kind of learn the rhythm. But those are challenges. Those are real challenges that happen. Then you all of a sudden start feeling the aches and pains, like my knees, my back. You have to kind of listen to the body and avoid injury. So those are challenges as well. Sprinklers. This is a real thing. Running early in the morning, I encounter a lot of sprinkler systems, and water, grass being watered. So I have crossed across sprinkler system. I'm wearing my earphones, so I can't hear anything. It's very dark, and that's happened to me. And those have been one of my low days where I'm all wet. It's 45 degrees. I have to cut my run short. So those are odd challenges, but it happens. And then life, right? You have kids, school, life waiting for you. So sometimes you're rushing to finish your routine, but you have all this happening. So you're trying to fit it all in. So those are also challenges. Same challenges I had 5 years ago. I still have them now, but there's a different mindset, and I'm able to overcome these challenges. So these are some challenges that I've had. What I like to do now is welcome one of my guests, is Damian. I'm going to share this. These are some posts on social media that basically we're sharing our runs. This is me after I finished my 5K 5 years ago. Here's Damian posting. He did 10 miles with some buddies. Here's me doing my 3 mile early on. So I'm going to welcome Damian because I want to Damian. I want to hear from him, his journey, and let me just pop in with Damian here.
Hey.
Hi, welcome, Damian.
Hey, how's it going, Fernando?
Good. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining. So Damian is a buddy of mine from childhood. We grew up together and back in the Dominican Republic. Long time. We reconnected on Facebook and other venues, and I saw his post, and I'm like, wait a minute, you gotta hop onto this and just share with me because I need some running buddies.
Yes,
So,
and you know what? Sharing the run is, sharing the joy, sharing the experience, and what you find out about that, it's something that's has kept me going. Whether it's in running or whether it's in life, a project. I run big projects. I run marathon projects, 3 4 year projects. So running. These activities I do for a living are like a marathon, but I couldn't get into running, and I got so many people close and around me that were into it. And I like sports. I like competitive sports. And when as you're getting old, you don't want to get injured by some dude in the basketball court. That
right.
was for me. Like, I need to find a different sport. So I got into running seriously during COVID. And I started going back to sharing the run. I started sharing the run because I felt that made me accountable. As I was doing this, I told a few people I knew about that I wanted to do the run, and that was the best thing, to just post it and get their feedback about my pace and what was going on. Uh, that's where you started seeing all those posts about my 10Ks, 5Ks in my social media.
That's awesome. So you hit a key thing about accountability. That's a big thing. Once you post it out there, or you have somebody, you don't have it all in your head, because if you don't share it, it's easier to make an excuse because nobody really knows about it. Now there's no pressure, right? It's a good pressure when you have somebody, you're holding yourself accountable. So are you running? So what's your schedule? How do you run? When, how often, or how far?
So I'm more of I don't like to run so early in the mornings. So for me, it's tricky because I work with different project teams that sometimes I gotta get on calls at 6:30 a.m. So sometimes I'm running in the mornings. Sometimes I'm running in the afternoon. But most of the time, I'm trying to fit in the run within my schedule as it goes. Um, I'm running maybe 3 to 4 times a week now.
Right.
I either run in the mornings or run the one run that's now um, that is kind of like built in my schedule is the run while my kid is practicing soccer. So I have to drop him off in this beautiful park. It's called Rodale Park here in Pennsylvania, and he's there for an hour 30 minutes.
That's
And
perfect,
in the
right?
past I will just sit around and be on the phone, or
Yeah,
bring on the computer from work and try to do work in the park. uh, but it was but it's much better when you're out there running.
exactly. Yeah, that's it. You squeeze it in there. You might as well do a run, right?
Yep.
That's awesome. And so what have been some challenges, like when you started? You say you started during COVID, or that to get serious. How did
Yeah,
you
yeah.
start?
So it got serious. I have tried to start, in the past. And my youngest brother Moises, he runs marathons. Like,
Really?
he's been to the Chicago Marathon, the Philly Marathon, New York Marathon.
Wow.
He runs trail marathons. And I started doing 5Ks with him. I tried a couple of times, and I don't know, it was just the mindset was not there. But he was trying to coach me back then, and
Okay.
I don't think I was listening. So one of the pitfalls I would say is that, in as you are out in public running with some other people that are, you don't know people running next to you most of the time. You don't know their journeys. And if you start running that first time and you're just looking at, how fit somebody might be or how old somebody is, you try to outrun those people sometimes.
That
And
happened
that's
to
kind
me.
of like, from the sports I used to play, is the competitive nature,
Hmm.
which is not the mindset for
That's the
running.
mindset.
So I will try to do a 5K, and somebody, way older than me, was running next to me and is passing me. I wanted to outrun that person,
Yeah.
and I couldn't do 2Ks
Uh-huh.
because, I was not built to run at that speed yet. So that was a significant thing for me, just to be able to know my own body
Hmm.
and know my own pace to start and build from there. So I think, finding and being able, having that mindset to start, letting yourself be coached and asking for help, that takes a little bit of strength. Asking for help makes you stronger. And once you realize you need the help, if you really want to do this, and you ask for it and you listen, that's a good step. So for me, that was a breakthrough moment, when I realized, well, I really like to do this and I need the help.
Okay. So that was a key thing. Having being coachable. You were coachable.
Yeah.
So you were open to, and you had somebody to look up to. I mean, he's your younger brother, but he was way ahead in terms of running. That's cool. That's awesome. I didn't know that. And so what? So other than that, what would you suggest? What tip would you give somebody that is still thinking about it, either running or exercising for their own health or for different reasons? What would you suggest somebody do to just to get started? Just very beginning.
Yeah, well, you know what, I the way I started doing even though I have some people around me that were running, but with my run schedule and where they are, I couldn't run with them. So one thing I tried using, and to be honest with you, I don't know if it's because how a lot of things have become available with COVID in terms of training, or it's just like that. But I started using the Nike Running Club app, the Nike Running Club app, NRC. And there's this global running coach. He's a well-known coach, Coach Bennett, and he starts the run with you, like for like your first run. He talks to you about how to do it, what's the mindset and what's the approach. And the one thing that triggered me right away, he has an audio, like a podcast run, that is the first run. And the one thing he tells you is that, you know it doesn't matter how you look, you really need to slow down to the point that you can um, you're not outrunning your heartbeat, you're not outrunning your mind, and most of all, that you can, if you're running with somebody, you can still have a conversation. And that when you finish that run, you feel like you can do another run just like that, right there. That should be your first run. So your first run, you should look ridiculous out there. uh, your pace should be, as slow as, it's like you are almost walking.
Yeah.
um, and that should be your first run. And I started like that. I did a couple of those 20-30 minute runs like that. until I went through a lot of pain. Also, shin splints were very, very common for me,
Mm.
and I could get to that about my shin splints and a fun fact about that
Oh,
later on.
okay. Wow. So, wow. So yeah, that's a good tip and suggestion about taking your own pace. Don't compare yourself to others. Listen to your heart. Listen to your breathing. Listen to your because I think that a lot of times we try to start something and we're trying to rush. We're looking at the 10 mile, and when we're starting, we don't start. We have to start where we are, right? Either 10 meters, 100 meters, wherever you are. That's where you start, and you just have to try to be a little bit better every time, and pace yourself. And I think that again, that's having the right mindset, not trying to rush into it. Um, that's great. So thanks for sharing. We're gonna welcome our next guest. Um, before I'm gonna welcome Stephen Doyle, and Stephen is the president of the nonprofit the Happy Jack Fund, and it's an organization that supports families that have suffered the loss of a child by awarding their siblings scholarships to be used in their higher education. So before I welcome Steve into the live, I'm going to share this clip so you can learn a little bit more about the Happy Jack Fund. Take a listen.
It hurts every day. I would give anything to have it back.
That was probably one of the worst days of my life.
It doesn't even seem possible.
I can't believe that she was gone and that she wouldn't be there with us anymore.
But you can get through it. Hi, I'm Jack's mom. My son, Jack, passed away in July 2013, and we started a non-for-profit scholarship foundation for high school seniors who've lost siblings.
The true meaning of the Happy Jack Fund was to recognize these young adults that go through such a tragedy, and they're able to work through that tragedy and still excel in school and want to do something with their lives. The biggest fear of a person or a parent that has gone through sibling loss is that their child will be forgotten. We try and keep their child's name alive through these events. We make the scholarship dinner about them. They are reminded every single year. We invite them back, and it's not just a one and done thing. We truly welcome them into our family.
It was 2 years ago when I had received this scholarship, and I still continue to hear from them regularly and get their support. And it's really nice to have a bond with another family or people that have experienced this.
The Happy Jack Fund has given my wife and I, Erica, strength at different times of the day to get through moments when we didn't know what else to do or who to talk to. When I wasn't able to function and go to work. To support my own family, they were able to support our family.
I find myself, unfortunately, finding a new family that has gone through exactly what we do. And I just try and reach out to them and let them know that they're not alone, as people did to us. And we truly like to pay it forward.
The scholarships that we give out to these siblings that have lost a brother or sister, you can directly tie your donation to that family, to that sibling, and understand their background, what their tragedy was, and where they're going in life and how the scholarship is going to help them.
I think it's so important to have an organization like the Happy Jack Fund because so many people, even adults, don't know what to do with our students when they've lost a sibling. And to get this type of honor and get a scholarship and have people around them saying, we understand what you've gone through and we want to honor the memory of your brother or sister. It's such a lonely place to travel through. And to get the support that they get and to meet other students who have lost their brothers and sisters, it's just an amazing, amazing support network.
So while giving to outlets that support research and stuff like that, very important, I believe in that, but this is a direct impact you can put a face to this, you can put a family to this.
The Happy Jack Fund definitely opened my eyes in a way that I'm not alone. There are other people who have gone through this. There are other people who have worked past this and achieved great things. So it's definitely helped me a lot.
The support that Happy Jack Fund provides is just invaluable for grieving families.
If you're looking for any form of support, contact the Happy Jack Fund. I know that the Happy Jack Fund would be there for you like they were there for us.
Hey, Fernando, I can't hear you.
No,
So
you're
I'd
muted.
like to welcome Steve Doyle, from president of the Happy Jack Fund. Welcome,
Hey,
Steve.
Fernando, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming. So, Steve, so share with us a little bit more from the Happy Jack Fund, how this came about. If you want to share your story, feel free to share as much as you can, and we'll take it from there.
Great. Yeah, I appreciate it. You caught me off guard with that video.
Get emotional.
You see my wife cry like that, it gets me every time. You know, sadly, it does bring me back to a very sad day. You know, in July of 2013, we were surprised with a surprise diagnosis of a brain tumor for our son. And sadly, he succumbed to it about 3 days later. So in the wake of his passing, I was just starting a new job, and, you know, we were trying to make something good of this. And my brothers and my close personal friends came to me and said, you know, you should really start a scholarship in his name. And somehow the Happy Jack Fund quickly snowballed from there. And, you know, since then, we've given out numerous amounts of scholarships. We've met a ton of families going through, you know, what exactly my wife and I are going through. And, you know, it's really done as much good for us as it has for these families.
So I can imagine. I mean, this is such a great thing that you're doing, and you're helping people basically that are going through what you experienced. And I can see how much impact that's done even by watching that video. I mean, what, you know, looking at the young people sharing, it's very touching. And so when you started this project, what kind of activities do you do to raise funds? One of them I know we'll talk about is the 5K. Well, let me just go ahead and talk about the 5K and you know, the other activities that you guys do.
Yeah, ironically, you know, the 5K was our first event.
Okay.
So, you know, just before Jack's passing, I got into running a lot, and very similar to your friend who was on before. Is he still here with it? Damian, you still here? Yeah. So you had COVID, which was, you know, unfortunately thrown into us just prior to Jack's passing. I would say probably around March of that year, I started running. And, you know, with running, you know, you join this community where, you know, you may not realize other people are running. So long story short, I'd lost a bunch of weight, was running. And when Jack passed and we were talking about forming the Happy Jack Fund, two of my friends came to me and they said, listen, we know you're busy with work. We want to do a 5K race in memory of Jack. And I was like, okay, great. I was like, you know, I had no time to give to them. And October, oh man, I want to say it was October 18th, but don't quote me. We try to hold the race on or as close to Jack's birthday, which is October 16th. And it just kind of like a memorialization for him. And our first year, you know, I wasn't really expecting much, not to put those guys down, but, you know, I didn't know what kind of support we were going to get. And we had over 350 registered runners their first year. We raised over $10,000, and it really skyrocketed the Happy Jack Fund and really gave us a foundation to be able to do our other events throughout the year and raise this money.
Wow, that's an awesome way to keep his memory alive. And every year, so that 5K. The way I learned about Steve, I joined a local Facebook running group, and there was Steve in the group, and he posted up something about a 5K that Happy Jack Fund is hosting. So I went ahead and signed up actually today. So I'm going to be, you know, in the midst of everything that's going on. They're taking precautions. It's a small group, and it's my, you know, first one for the year.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to participate in that 5K. It's going to be easy for me now that I'm running. But so yeah. So let's Steve, so how can people learn more? I have the link to the website here. They can donate, obviously, right? And if they can't participate in the 5K, they can always donate. Any other way they can lend a hand?
There's a multitude of reasons. COVID really has thrown a wrench in. This is actually our first event that we're throwing since our last race, which would be the 7th annual in 2019. I mean, much like a lot of charities, a lot of our events revolve around social events, whether it be sporting events or our annual scholarship dinner, which we sadly had to cancel. Most of all of our information is available on our website, happyjackfund.com. We're really, really excited to be hosting this race for a number of reasons. One, for people like you, there's not a lot of live events going on, especially races. The town of Clarkstown really, with their support, we're able to do this, and we're going to be doing it safely. There's a lot of precautions. We want to make sure everybody is safe and healthy before and after the race. We're asking for everybody's patience, but we're going to get through it. We're going to have a great day and a great event. If you're unable to make the race, of course, we're always open to donations, but we're still accepting virtual race spots. And if you register, hopefully by this Monday virtually, we want to get the race shirt out to you. So there's still plenty of time to sign up for the virtual. If you want to come and do it live, everything's available on our website, or you can go to runsignup.com and search Happy Jack 5K.
Okay. All right. So there you have it. Thanks, Steve. So let's switch to on a lighter note now. We're going to switch it over to our segment that we are calling Guess the Benefits. All right. So this is a segment where I'm basically going to ask 5 questions, five trivia questions. And we're gonna just answer them. Whoever gets the answer can go ahead and answer the question. So are you ready, Steve? Ready, Damian?
All set.
Okay. They're very, very hard questions, so pay attention. All right, here we go. So question number 1: which is a health benefit of running? Multiple choice. A, helps build strong bones. B, strengthens muscles. C, improves cardiovascular fitness. D, burns plenty of kilojoules. Or C, or E, all of the above. What say you?
We'll go with E.
You'll go with E. What about you, Steve?
Yeah, I gotta also go with E.
Very good. Very good. Okay, you got it. Not too high. All right. Number 2. What is the name of the Greek goddess of running? Tricky. A, Alea. B, Adele. C, Atalanta. It's not a typo. And D, Aretha.
I am gonna go with B, Adele.
B, Adele. Damian?
I will pick C.
C, Atalanta. What about Aretha? Aretha sounds Greek to me. Is that your final answer?
It's final.
Yeah.
You got it. Okay. Atalanta, the goddess. Number 3, the first 4-minute mile was run by A, Roger Moore in 1985. B, Roger Bannister in 1954. C, Roy Rogers in 2001. D, Buck Rogers in 1979. A lot of Rogers there.
So it had to be someone with Roger here, huh? The first 4-minute mile. Buck Rogers, maybe?
I think you're too young to know who Buck Rogers is. Steve, do you know who Buck Rogers is?
Yeah, so I was going to say Buck Rogers was from a TV show. Roy Rogers is, you find it at the fast food stores, stops on the Garden State Parkway and the rest areas of the Turnpike. I want to say it's either Roger Moore or Roger Bannister. And the only reason I say Bannister is I think he was a character in Cool Running. So I'm going to go with Roger Moore in 1985.
Roger Moore is an actor who played 007. I don't know what movie, 1980. So the answer is B. Roger Bannister in 1954, the first person who ran the 4-minute mile. All right, guys, let's say question number 4. Your feet can produce a pint of sweat each day. True or false? That's a lot of sweat.
I would go true.
Nasty, but correct. Last question. Next. Many studies have found that couples who run together also A, fight more often, B, have more fun together, C, have more babies together, and D, have more sex.
Damian, I'm going to leave this one up to you, buddy.
Don't get in trouble now.
I will say, with my experience, number B or letter B. Sorry.
Oh, close, but no cigar.
Oh boy, is it D as in David?
Is it D? That's the answer. Well, having babies, having more fun, like B, C, and D kind of go together. I mean, you can't have one they're not exclusive, but definitely not A. All right, guys, that has been our segment of Guess the Benefits. Thanks for playing Guess the Benefits. So, guys, that was fun. Now we're just going to recap. Just to recap, if you're joining us late, watch the replay. We went over some running benefits, our experience in running, how we overcome some of the obstacles. We also learned about the Happy Jack Fund, and we learned about from the president, Steve Doyle, that's on the live, his experience of how that came about. There's a link on the screen to reach out to Happy Jack Fund to either donate or join their latest event, which is a 5K coming up. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. If you want to be notified of when we go live during the week off schedule, sign up to our VIP list on mindsetofsteel.com. And we send out email and text notifications when we go off schedule and we go live. Don't forget to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and like and share it with a friend if you find value. Thank you very much, everybody. And thanks, guys, for joining me. Say goodbye, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks
until
so
the
much.
next episode. Thank you. Until the next episode of Mindset of Steel. Goodbye.